It's Clem here again today from Online Flooring Store, Talking Flooring. What I wanted to do today is have a chat about the history of laminate flooring and some of the undeserved bad press it's gotten. So once upon a time, this new category of flooring hit the market called laminate, and it came out of Europe and it was pretty well made. Early versions of it had a glue together system and you glued the product together on your floor, but it floated on top of the floor on an underlay. And then very soon locking systems started coming into it, and that's where the category exploded. It experienced a lot of success in its early days, particularly too because builders were able to now put down a product which didn't require them to bond tiles to the floor. So it made installation very, very simple, but it also meant for a customer down the track who maybe wanted to change their floor, it was much easier to lift up than what a tile was. Tiles, surgery, whereas laminate, you basically lift the product up, you put it back in the box and you move it to the dump or you sell it on to someone else. So the product experienced some very, very early success, but it soon came plummeting down for three factors, actually. And no one really likes to talk about these in the industry, but this is what caused the death of laminate flooring. So initially, laminate was a quality product made in Europe, using really good resins to bind the product together in the core. You had a protective membrane was put down on the floor between the underlay and the laminate, because at the time the underlay didn't have a membrane on the back of it. So you put a builder's plastic down, which was 200 micron thick, which meant it was waterproof. And then, you know, when people were doing retrofitting, it was going onto an older slab, but provided that membrane was there, you were good to go. What happened then was, as every category experiences this in flooring, when a product gets traction, everyone wants to make it cheaper. Now, you can make things cheaper by manufacturing them at a lesser quality. And China started manufacturing laminate. Now, China makes some great laminates now. They make some of the best in the world. But at the time, they were really cutting their teeth on it, and they had, more of the attitude of getting it done cheaply. So the Chinese product often looked very similar on the surface, but underneath the core of the product acted like a sponge and would draw in moisture. That on its own wasn't the issue. What happened then is we got a bit smart and we started putting the membrane onto the underlay. That membrane, rather than using a 200 micron plastic, which is waterproof, they put a 70 micron plastic, which was water resistant. Now, in most homes, again, that's not too much of an issue. But what was happening was new homes that were being built and they were putting laminate in, the slab in a new home will release water for up to 10 years. So what was happening is it really wasn't the damage that was done to the surface of the product. It was moisture rising up through the slab, penetrating the moisture barrier, coming in through the back of the product where the joins are exposed, unlike the top, which they're watertight. And that's what killed the category of laminate. So soon after that, vinyl plank hits the market. It's waterproof. It's got some pluses, and it needs a villain to tell the story. So every Luke Skywalker needs a Darth Vader. And then laminate became the Darth Vader. And then what happened, vinyl plank went on and laminate sales plummeted. In fact, the category, it didn't die entirely, but it started to disappear from a lot of flooring stores. You know, what was once a huge amount of laminate turned into a little bit. And then vinyl plank had its day in the sun. Now, chinks in the armour were exposed there. We went through a bamboo phase and then we went into the hybrid phase, which we're in now. What has happened in the background, though, is that the laminate category has evolved and matured and now is an excellent product category. You can still buy the old products like what you knew, but today you're getting these products that have like serious water warranties of 76, 96 hours when we tested them here, we left a piece in a bucket of water exposed for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, not a millimetre of growth. But what had happened in the background is out of Europe, they started making these laminates with a waterproof surface. So it wasn't a waterproof product, but it had a waterproof surface. The core was excellent and was standing up and was doing really, really well. But it wasn't still getting traction because hybrid had taken over the market. People were still buying a lot of vinyl. Then along came the second generation, which is products like this, which were predominantly made in China. They were quite big. And their warranty was now no longer surface only. It was a total water warranty. So 96 hours, top and bottom, side to side, didn't matter. And you were starting to now be able to install the products in big rafts, like 20 metres by 20 metres, without having to put internal expansion brakes in, which, older laminates 10 metres by 10 metres. So in a typical home with a water-resistant laminate, you can pretty much do the whole home without expansion brakes if you plan it right. So the category is now poised for a comeback, and the advantages are that you're getting these big boards with much more realistic looking surfaces. Because laminate is such an old category and has a lot of technology to draw from, they're now being able to use this water resistant and now waterproof technology to create a product that has all of the advantages of your vinyl and hybrid, but gives you back the advantages that were always inherent to laminate. So laminate is the most stain, scratch, and burn resistant product on the market. So if you have a lot of friends who like to come and spill wine on your floor, you like to get a bit happy and forget it's there and not want to deal with it for 2-3 days later, go nuts on a laminate. With a hybrid or a vinyl, you do have to be far more careful. You've got to get to it quickly because the wear layer on the product is open pored and it will eventually seep into the product. Scratch and stain resistance. Look, with hybrid, a lot of retailers have promoted it as scratch proof, which is not true. It's very scratch resistant, but you've got to be careful moving furniture across it. You don't pick up you don't just drag a couch across a hybrid floor. You pick it up and you lift it. With laminate, she'll survive that a whole lot better than what a hybrid will. And burn resistance, if you have friends who decide whilst they're drinking that wine we talked about before, they want to put their cigarettes out on your floor, with a laminate, you just wipe that off. With a hybrid and a vinyl, you will have burn marks in your floor. So there's a lot of advantages that laminate is giving back. And now that people are in the headspace again of rafted flooring like hybrid is, laminate's poised for a comeback. The only real disadvantage to laminate now is the fact that it is a bit noisier than a hybrid floor. Hybrid is quite quiet compared to laminate. But nowadays, this is the AquaShield laminate, which is the first waterproof laminate on the Australian market. Now, that is truly waterproof. We'll be talking about this later. But look, if you've got any questions on laminate or the laminate category, I'm happy to have a chat. Call us at onlineflooringstore.com.au.